Welcome to another in the series, The Sip and the Chat. Welcome to another in the series, Sip and a Chat. I'm your host, LELEITH Tomlinson. Well, we're still in the month of May, and I hope that all of our mothers had a beautiful time last Sunday. And as we continue in this month of May, we want to continue to celebrate our young achievers, our students who continue in the midst of all that is happening to remind us that there is still hope in Jamaica. We also here on Sip and Chat want to pause to also acknowledge the brutality that was expressed towards the 9-year-old little baby over there in the parish. And we stand with the family, and we really want to let them know that we're extending our love to them. So our hearts go out to that family this afternoon. Young child that was brutally raped and then chopped and put in the barrel. We really want the family to know that here at Sip and Chat, we really feel your pain. And from one note to another note, we want to celebrate our young achievers, those that are doing exceptionally well. And I have on set with me today, Mr. Davian Phillips. I hope I got the name correct.
Almost there, Davian Phillips.
Davian Phillips. And so today, I'm so proud of him. I happened to see him on the campus of the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, and he's such a young man who exudes so much positivity. And I find him especially engaging because in a Jamaica where so many people, say that, boy, the men are gone and the young people are this, he remains so positive and so optimistic. So welcome to the set, Davian. I'm so happy to have you here today.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
So just talk to us a little bit about who is Davian Phillips.
Davian Phillips, firstly, Davian is a man of God.
Right.
Secondly,
really important.
Yes. First, in all things that I do, God. And then secondly, Davian is a positive young man who loves to motivate the community, his fellow students, his direct family and extended family. And additionally, Davian is somebody who never gives up. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would like to add.
So Davian, I know that you started the conversation and premised that you're a man of God. How has faith helped to shape your life?
Well, if it wasn't for faith, I wouldn't have been where I am today, because that same faith got me into the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean. The same faith allows me to motivate others. I remember getting saved in September of 2023, and that's where I received the Holy Ghost. But my faith journey really started with my parents from a long time ago till today, and it's been a challenge. However, I've been developing. My ministry is going well because I do also deliver the word of God to my church at Pentecostal Sanctuary. So my faith is steadily developing, and I feel like that is a core aspect and center of my life.
Excellent. So talk to young people out there who say, "Why? I'm too young. I don't want this faith thing. I'll soon get to the academics and everything." But the young people out there saying, "Why church is not for me? I have to live it out. I have to dance it out, party it out. I have to do my thing." Talk to us about how you can let them understand that you're not missing out on anything really. Talk to us about that.
So first we have to look at what the Bible says. God tells us to do everything while we are young, while we have our youth. That's when we can truly, to our fullest capacity, serve Him. When we have the energy, when we have the time. As a young individual, truly not missing out on anything, because what this world has to offer, I see it as vanity. I don't have any interest in partying or anything like that the young people tend to align themselves with, especially in this region, the Caribbean. However, but refocus your energy on things that truly matter. Develop your ministry in church, go out, inspire others, build a portfolio for your career, do the things that going to transform your life and develop it in a certain capacity.
It's always such a pleasure talking to you because Davian, I feel so inspired, and I'm so happy that Jamaica, and by extension the diaspora today, is hearing the voice of a very focused young man. So Davian, tell us about your academic journey now. What are your goals, and how are you maneuvering to achieve those goals?
Well, my academic journey started at St. George's College, where I learned and developed over the years. Then it moved to UCC, I got a scholarship going into UCC, and I'm studying business administration. The goal is political science and international relations, because I do want to get into the hemisphere of politics. However, I also want to study some law as well. So, UCC provides a extensive program where I can also study from the University of London, from the University of the
That's
Commonwealth.
correct.
So early on with my journey in terms of academics, my GPA was first GPA was 3.8.
Wow.
And
for those who don't understand, that's out of 4, right?
Right, exactly.
Because some schools use a matrix of 5, but it's 4.
Yeah. So that was 3.8, and then a little bit later in the semester, I got sidetracked and distracted, which is okay, which is natural, which is a part of life. However, I've gotten back on track, and my GPA has improved this semester. I'm not sure of the standing now, because all the
are
grades,
still in. Right.
However, I'm still developing, and it's looking bright. Actually, I've taught 2 students, and both of them on the report, they both got A's. So I'm happy for them as well, because I do offer mentorship programs at UCC as well.
That's so good, Davian. I'm very impressed by all that you're doing and continue to do. But I want you to talk to the young people out there who are saying, "Boy, nothing now gone," and they feel hopeless. What would you say to young people, whether it be academics or they're having financial challenges? What would you say to those young people? But before you get to that, can you talk to us about what you think are some of the challenges facing young people?
Well, some of the challenges faced with young people, I would say it starts with the mind. If you don't believe in yourself, where can you truly go in this world? So I would say the mind, the motivation of peers, parents, teachers, so forth. Because just like myself, coming up in the educational system, I was regarded as the duns who can't do anything just because I was lazy and I didn't want to do anything. They set this stigma over my life that I cannot achieve what I truly want to achieve. But later on, I got some moral values. People encouraged me. I believed in myself. That's why I applied to university. Nobody said, go to university. I took my initiative and I said, hey, you know what? I want something for my life, regardless of what people are saying. And that's what you also have to do. And you have to go there and take what it is that you want. And then what God has planned for you as well. So you have to know your purpose and then how everything else can align with that. So my message for people is to don't give up on yourself, because that is where most of your motivation, your discipline will come from. It will come from you and nowhere else.
Very intrinsic. You have to find something within you to propel you.
Right.
You said something, Davian, and a lot of times young people, I find that sometimes they're only with their peers, but how important do you think is to align yourself with even more mature adults who can provide guidance? Because I think we all, in all of us, whatever, regardless of our status in life, we always need that little fuel. I always say to people that regardless of the type of car, they go to the gas station. That's and true. If it's not for gasoline, it's for electrical recharging. So how would you suggest that people who feel despondent, where do they go to recharge? How do they recharge?
For sure. So for me personally, most of my friends are older than me, if not all of them. My oldest friend is 85. Her name is Daisy Cook.
What?
Right. And majority of my friends, if we look at it, they're around the ages of 25 to 30. I only have just a few, selective few, around 10 that are my age. And the reason for that is because my mindset is where I'm intending to be and who is already there, and how I can align myself with people who are already in that system so I can benefit from it and learn from them, because that is what you truly want, is to learn and don't repeat certain mistakes and just to get ahead of everyone else.
Right. All right. So one of the things that we notice is that in Jamaica, there's lots of crime and violence, right, which has severely hampered lifestyle. It has affected families. What would you want to say to Jamaica in terms of transformation as a young person? What would you want to just say to people, whether they're in the space of actually being perpetrators of crime and violence? What would you want to say to those people?
I would say it's not worth it. Violence doesn't solve anything. And I know that firsthand because I also had anger issues. I went to therapy, I went to church, and through deeper reflection, I realized that it will not solve anything. It's more important to collaborate and communicate and to solve things collectively rather than act out a selfish emotion. So I rather for our Jamaicans to just talk it out rather than act it out.
Right. I like that phrase. Talk it out and act it out. And especially don't fight it out or
Don't
kill
fight
it out, right?
Right.
Because a lot of we have lost a lot of young people, a lot of talent, a lot of, fatherless homes, because not because they don't want to be there, but they can't be there because they're no longer. One of the things I find with young people as well, and the connects between young people and parenting, for example, a lot of young people feel like they just can't connect with their parents. And I don't want you to talk to us about how do we connect, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes there's this disjoint and the children are saying, oh, they don't understand us and all of that. So how do you connect? How does a generation connect?
Well, how I find it difficult myself, struggling with family matters. However, what I realize is just to understand that your parents are also individuals. They have their own. They're also people outside of their responsibilities and their roles, and just to connect with that human nature, just express more love. And I feel like if we can love one another, as the Bible says, love your neighbor, right? You can find a deeper insight into that individual that you can understand and communicate with them above or beyond just their roles and responsibilities for you as a child.
So if I'm hearing you well, Davian, you're saying that parents need to be more expressive in their emotions. Especially love, because they have no problem sometimes executing the judgment with the whip and so on. But there is this issue where I find that, because I was on a program, it's Child Month, you're all over the place, interacting with young people. And there was this girl, when we asked her to share what was her special moment with her mom, she had no recollection. So I moved quickly past her, because I was thinking that probably her mom died or something. But then when we say, what could your mom improve? She was the most vocal. So for her thing was that her mom never hugged her. And she feels so separated from her mother, because she had a younger sister that was born. And once that sister came into the family, like, she no longer existed. So really, I really find it very important that you're bringing up again this point of not just thinking in their minds that they love their children, but expressing. And we really want to emphasize that love is an action word. And I can't say the promoter just, or producer putting on some images. Tell the children that you love them, do things with them, tickle them. You know what I'm saying? Because we're people. And like you said, that even the parents too, children can, I keep saying we, like I'm a child today, I am. We as children too, children can go across. Talk to us about that. Because sometimes we're waiting on the parents to come and say, true. I love you. But tell us some of the things that as young adults, young children can do to affirm their own parents.
Sure. I mean, you can break the barrier. Like every day before I leave work or school, I hug my father. And then I tell him goodbye, or I greet him every chance I get when I come in or when I'm leaving. And I hug him. And I also try to do it with my mom, but a little bit more with my dad. But you can also break that barrier to say, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Do you want to go on a run or something like that? Something to break that barrier of formality. Because a lot of times, especially in Jamaica, there's this authoritative
mother,
mindset,
father, man.
Exactly. So if you can just surpass that and go beyond that, I feel like it should benefit the relationship.
Excellent. So in terms of opportunities, a lot of people say, boy, they don't see any job opportunities. And so for them, just even trying to pursue a higher level of learning is like, why? Talk to us about how do you view the future?
I mean, opportunities here. Jamaica is the land of opportunities, and you may not see it, but you have to also create your own opportunities. You have to put yourself in that space. So for instance, I wouldn't say gamble, but I would say my investment going into UCC put me in certain positions where I'm in meetings far above what you'd normally think for an 18-year-old. I'm in meetings with ministers. I'm visiting the directors of tourism for Miami. I'm going all over just because I want to be in a space where I know that there's more to achieve. So there's opportunities out there at whatever level, and we need all members of society to contribute towards opportunity, towards development. So not only that, but what you can do now to improve your life and in the life of others through these opportunities. Make use of what is presented to you now, because you never know what the future can present.
Right. And one of the things I find that is emerging as well, especially for successful young people, as you rightfully say, they are thinking, okay, not just what Jamaica can do for me,
Right.
but what I can do for Jamaica. And I think that's a very interesting way to focus,
Right.
because when you do that, it's like you look in the space and you see, okay, as a country, where are the gaps?
Exactly.
And then how can I come up with this bright, creative idea? And then, I mean, you're really into the field of,
Innovation,
innovation and
sure.
just, where your ideas, the incubators and coming up with new ideas and so on. So if there was one thing that you could change in the world, what would that be?
If there was one thing that I could change in the world,
Right.
I would say the healthcare system. If there's one thing that we can improve, it's making our children have a better access to healthcare, because I feel like it's something that should be mandatory. So just working with Novamed recently, that is basically an innovation company that supplies financing to all the different medical businesses across the region here in Jamaica. So if you can normalize that, or to create probably more exposure to say, hey, healthcare should be a necessity, and also free education.
Right. And that's so important, because I was thinking that probably somebody would say education, improve the education system. But at the end of the day, no matter how educated you are, if you can't get access to healthcare when something goes wrong, then you're still in a predicament. So that's very, very important. I just wanted to also talk to to parents as well, from a youngster perspective, from a young, brilliant mind. I mean, parents sometimes give up on their children because they are not seeing them bloom, so to speak, in the way that they want them to bloom. I want you to talk to parents about not giving up on their kids.
As I tell people all the time, love is a choice, and one of the ministers told me recently that children are your heritage. So you should, treat them as such. Don't give up on your child, because my mother never gave up on me. In primary school, they used to call me the devil's right hand man, because I used to give so much trouble.
I remember you told me that one time, and I laughed because you look more like an angel.
Exactly.
But for you to be coined in that way was just like, no, not really. But
of course.
But that's important to know, that you can start out on one trajectory and you can make a total. I don't say 360 anymore. I say 180.
180.
Because 360 brings you back to the same point. Right.
Right. So everyone can change. I rather you invest in that change than neglect that change. And for parents, that's so important, because one word, literally one word or a phrase, can change the entire mindset of a child, because at that stage they're still developing, they're still intaking, and sometimes you have to realize that some of the behaviors that they're going on with it stems from somewhere. So you have to also look into yourself and say, what can I do to make this child a little bit better? Or what are who can I introduce this child to say, you know what, be more like that person, or take on certain traits and qualities, because we all struggle with something. So if we can come down and humble ourselves as well, to say, okay, he's struggling with something, and treat the child also as an individual going through its problems, however small or large they are, and take that one-on-one time to develop that child, regardless if that child is a troublemaker or a disaster, a hurricane as put, right? You can help that to transform into something beautiful, or that child can, come out and inspire more people, and, help them along their way, because they would have known what it's like to go through that process.
Because what I'm hearing you saying, Davian, is that everybody has a story, right? And even the successful people that we know today, if you heard their story, what they had to go through, but somebody believed in them. And I think that's kind of like the message that we really want to get across to parents today, that believe in your kids. I mean, if you think of a garden, not every fruit blooms at the same pace, right? And sometimes some that comes to their full fruition, they were attacked by parasites and so on and so on. So we can't always give up on people, because at the time when we think they should bloom, they don't bloom. So that's very, very powerful. As we're about to wrap up, Davian, we know that we have this, in Jamaica, we're thinking that, boy, our young men are gone. We can't see them in the ratio between young men in universities compared to the female. It just seems like, wow, it's so, it's just so gone. It's almost like a 3-to-1 in some instances. I want you to talk to our young men out there who say, boy, I chill up on the corner, in this academic thing, or me just can't bother, me just want to hustle, because that's something that we need to examine, because everybody wants to hustle. And I mean, what exactly is hustle? Because for some people, it's just about taking from Peter to give to Paul, but so talk to us the young men out there, and let them know that the options that we have.
All right, so the options, they're vast. right? I know that everybody's not prone to the traditional way of life,
Academia.
but academics, and you might not like the process because it's such a complex system that you have to go through time and time again and deal with difficulties and people. But life is hard, life is difficult, and yes, you can go there and hustle, but the economy needs certain positions. And the reality is that there's going to be a flush out of certain offices, systems, and there are going to be people needed to fill those spaces. And, the country is relying on you and I to sustain these places and also develop them and innovate and bring on new ideas to transform them. So, yes, you can take a separate route. Like myself, I'm great in marketing. I could create a TikTok account and take that revenue and just live my life how I want to live. But no, taking on a more traditional road so I can develop this country. Because as men, you have to make a choice. Whether it is that you're going to choose the harder path or you're going to do something that is easy. I encourage you to take on that role that you truly believe that God is calling you to do. Not only that, but to ensure that you do it to your fullest capacity, with all your tenacity. Because it's never going to be easy. But with vigor and with strength and with determination, you can achieve it, no matter what position you are at, because you have to start from somewhere. And it's better that you start than you sit down on that corner and not doing anything with your life.
Right. I mean, nothing comes easy in life. And somebody said, you just have to rise up, get up.
That's true.
And just know that there is potential that lies out there, because I find that, and we talked about this earlier, Davian, that a lot of people, because of the kind of associations that they have, and if there are associate people who are very, very negative, then, we just hang up on the corner right here. So, but if they get somebody, I talk about it all the time. I probably have a half tin of Red Bull, right? But I love the concept of the Red Bull where it says, the tagline, it gives you wings that you can fly. I think we need a lot of people who gives us wings. That we can fly. People who propel us, even when we feel like, whoa, we can't do it, I have no more strength, I'm broken, I'm shattered, and they just come, I mean, like when you watch Power Rangers, and they just morph us back together, and we just come back to life.
You know what? Funny you say that, because the Bible also says iron sharpens iron.
Exactly.
And it's not as simple as you might think, but it's saying that a little bit of hard nature versus hard nature, you sharpen one another. That process is gritty. And you might not like what that friend is saying, but it's to develop you and to sharpen you so you're prepared for whatever life brings. And then lastly, I know that Jamaicans love to create excuses, but one thing that always stuck with me, Mr. Walter said it from St. George's College in first form all the way up. He says, excuses are monuments of nothing. They build bridges to nowhere. Those who use these tools of incompetence are masters of nothing themselves. So don't make excuses.
That was so good. Can you say it again? So good.
So that is, excuses are monuments of nothing. They build bridges to nowhere. Those who use these tools of incompetence are masters of nothing themselves.
Wow. Excuses are monuments of nothing. Don't say you can't before you try. Try and see what you can do. Because chances are, if you're helped by others, others do the work, not you. And I feel so refreshed, and I hope this program has energized and refueled a lot of our Jamaicans who are out there, who are just thinking that, boy, nothing now gone. Because that's what we say a lot of times, nothing now gone. You can't feel the rain on your skin. You feel like you can't breathe. But there are opportunities out there, because every single day something new is being created, and that's what we want. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you today for tuning in. Any final words, Davian?
1-1 cocoa, full basket. So take your time, and of course, in due time, it will happen for you. Trust God and believe, and all things shall work for your good.
Well, let's top it off with Philippians 4 verse 13. Never forget that you can do all things through Christ who strengtheneth you. And I always had this part that cooperation coupled with zeal will accomplish that which zeal alone cannot do. Wow. It's time to rise up off that couch. It's time to reframe those thoughts. Make sure you align yourself with the right people. That's what this very brilliant young mind is saying to us. And you don't always have to start out with a burst of energy. For some people, it's a little trickle at a time. It's a little movement at a time. But at the end of the day, they're targeted and they move towards their goals. So today, on Sip and Chat, I want to thank you so much, Davian. Big up to St. George's. So a shout out to your mommy, man.
Big up.
And Daddy.
Well, I'd like to thank my parents for allowing me to be here, Carolyn Phillips and Davian Phillips, and my older sister, Daniela Phillips.
Oh, excellent, excellent. I want to say kudos to every good parent out there who continues to inspire their children so that they can rise up from where they are and take that step to greatness. Thank you so very much for having us here on Sip and Chat. Right. Until next time, we will see you. All right.